And CDEC actually has the potential to have the highest number of points if they go forward and just win all their games 2-0. What's the possibility of that happening?
Well, I want to say that it's really high for their sake, but to be honest, because they have faced Empire, I believe they've still got some tough opponents to face. And I'm thinking their chances of getting top 4 now that I see, because they've got 2 wins, right? If it was if it was draws, if they got 6 points any other way, then it would have been tougher. But I think because it's 2 wins that they got, I think their chance of getting top 4 pretty high. Because Newbie eHome, they're all having so many draws. This is a group of draws, and just purely by having those 2 wins, I consider them a top 4 team in this group.
Yeah, it does look pretty possible. Winter, what about you? I mean, where do you see CDEC ending up?
I think it's still really tight, though. Anyone can take the top 4 position in that group, and CDEC have still a few hard games to play against stronger opponents, so they need to at least win another 2-0. I feel another 3 points to be safe in the top 4. So I feel anything can happen still.
Ben, any clear thoughts about CDEC, or do you agree that? Well, we'll see. I mean, because they're later matchups.
Yeah, well, I think one more 2-0 is safe for them in the top 4, but it also depends on like how Vici does, how all the middle of the pack teams do.
Yeah, of course, especially Vici, Newbie, and eHome, all not performing up to, or Vici not performing up to standards that most people might have expected. On the flip side, Newbie and eHome maybe coming up a little bit stronger than some expected. And then, of course, Empire. We do have another match with them later today after this one, and they will be playing against EG. That will be a big one for Empire, right? If they can take a win there, that sets them apart. But if they get 2-0'd against EG also, like, they started out with not the hardest of matchups on day 1 and 2. They had a rough beating there. If they can't climb up, it's going to be rough for Empire to hope for a top 4 finish on day 4 of the group stages. As you can see on your screen, of course, in stream 2 and 3, we do have Virtus Pro playing Vici Gaming and the Newbie playing CDEC. So CDEC is playing right now alongside Newbie, and that should be a pretty interesting match. Of course, might tell a lot on the results of Group B. Same with VP and Vici Gaming. See how Vici Gaming's doing as we wrap up day 3. I almost said day 2, but we're in day 3 now. The days are all blurring together. They've been long but excellent days here at TI5 for sure. Are there any matches that really stand out to you? Because I feel like every time we do highlights from the previous day, it's like, oh shoot, that one was really good too. And then we think about day 1, we're like, okay, well, we had those moments in day 1. We of course had the Age of Steel with the Storm. Anything that particularly has left a memory for you, Winter?
I mean, the first series of the day on day 1, obviously LGD was a secret. There were both very high quality games and very contrasting play styles, and you could see a lot of difference in how when the team match up together and how they view both of the teams, like the bans, the picks, and stuff. I think that's the most memorable series for me today.
All right. Well, would like to talk more about all the cool moments we've had so far, but it looks like the teams are ready for game number 2, so we'll be jumping into the draft between EG and eHome. eHome on the dire side, EG on Radiant, and eHome just kicking things off with the Naga ban. They don't want to deal with that. EG, of course, very well versed with Naga.
There's a dazzle. Damn.
Man, not even waiting until the second ban, just going and taking the hope out of everyone who might have been waiting for that one.
At least it was second one last game, but no, that's just mean.
Same with Naga.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Not giving a chance either. Both very clear on that one, but eHome taking a little bit more time for the next bans and perhaps going forward too.
Again, the Bounty Hunter was a big question mark for me, just because it's not terribly great against eHome's style of play. Obviously, it's a very good hero and very highly rated, but I wasn't sure if EG was actually going to tend towards that this game.
Okay.
I think from previous game, like eHome did really good in the first 10 minutes, right? And one of the reasons they did that was because of the Spirit Breaker from RTK. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see that hero again, or if EG is going to try to ban it out this time.
I mean, the whole draft they had in the first game in general is just the general idea they had was we are going to have good lanes, we're going to gank and have a better time early game and control and just push whenever we are ready. So let's see what they have this game. They're going to have the Lash Rock.
Tuscan Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and EG, definitely one of the teams that hasn't been afraid to just give up the Leshrac and try to counter it in one way or another, whether it's team play, whether it's hero pick specifically, and then choosing to ban the Shaker over that one.
We have seen that.
I think it's important, like, when you're up against a Chinese team, you ban the Shaker when you want to give away the Lash, because they use Lash plus Shaker combination very well together. It's really strong and potent in the laning phase, and even in team fights, both the heroes are they work very well together. They deal a lot of damage, and in general, early game to mid late, they're all strong in the whole stages of the match.
It's also really good to split up team fights if you are indeed going to be having the Tusk and a Gyrocopter. If you want to pick that up, then you'd preferably not want to fight against the Earthshaker as well.
And banning it to Dazzle, I think, is really good if you plan on giving the Leshrac away.
But still, Queen, Shadow Fiend. I mean, I guess Queen would probably be much more flexible than Shadow
Undying,
Fiend. Yeah.
still in the pool as well. And it is going to be another... They kind of have the same head. No, they don't. But they are both the same color.
Yeah, they do look pretty similar if you look at them from this angle. Wyvern being picked up for eHome. So all the heroes you just mentioned, Quap's still available. SF, of course, still available. Slipping through a little bit this time.
They're definitely gearing into very strong lanes right now. Wyvern, a very strong support early on, can roam, and I feel it's a good replacement when you don't have an Earthshaker if you want to gang the Leshrac's lane, since you can do a lot of damage with Arctic Burn at level 1 alone. So it probably hints that eHome might still want to go very aggressive early on, gang the lanes and be very active around the map, help CTY as much as possible.
Now, does the Lina ban say much about who eHome wants to put in that mid lane, or are we pretty convinced that it's just overall a generic ban just to get that out of the way?
Against Cold Embrace,
Yeah,
possibly.
it's mostly against Winter Wyvern. Leshrac and Lina, I guess Lion. I mean, Gyrocopter's already really good versus it, but you need something else too.
Yeah, you can Light Strike array the Tusk targets coming in, so perhaps they would want to pick it up themselves, I thought, but... Apparently they want to have maybe more aggressive supports in that case. Supports that can roam around early a bit more. Maybe get the Lion back. Rubik is still in the pool, which was a hero that Evil Geniuses banned out against eHome previous game. In this phase.
That is true.
The anti-mage ban is actually pretty interesting, just because we've seen a lot of teams, I'd say Secret most notably, just almost always pick anti-mage as a response to Leshrac in the second phase.
Yeah.
And EG is actually banning them out themselves. Maybe...
They don't want to play against Anti-Mage but Leshrac. I think we've seen that combination once today. I mean, it wasn't particularly strong. I think it was from Richie, was it? Can't remember which game.
No, does that mean that perhaps they have a stronger priority in something else they want to pick as soon as that pick comes off of this ban phase? Because even if that anti-mage is good against Lesh, maybe they really wanted to favor something else and they were afraid of that anti-mage going over to eHome.
I actually think probably the other possible reason is what eHome has right now. They have Lash and Wyvern. Both of these heroes are very good at defending high ground, so they don't want to give eHome too much of a security towards the late game since they have very good base defense.
Would they be more scared of a Phantom Lancer though? I feel like I think Phantom Lancer is.
I mean, Gyro deals with Phantom Lancer better compared to
just-
Anti-Mage.
Then maybe they're planning on picking up Storm. There we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Storm coming through to the Disruptor ban.
I'm kind of
course.
surprised that Queen of Pain is also still in the pool, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that picked up by eHome still, or by lesser extent EG. Like,
Right.
eh.
eHome not taking any chances this time. The Rubik was left open, so they're going to try to secure that one.
It's a lot of good spells to steal from these three heroes already. Spore Lightning and anything from Tusk is really good as well. They have a very solid support to start up so that the Leshrac can follow up with a stun. It's just all in all, very good support to gank the Leshrac's lane as well. That's like the primary objective of the three heroes they have right now. So I would expect Storm to have quite a hard time in the lane. Like he has to be very careful not to get ganked by the supports. Once they are missing, he has to be very safe. And usually EG would respond with a defensive support to deal with that from PPD.
Witch Doctor's still in the pool. Tree and Protector. Who knows? Skywrath.
This
Haven't
is
seen a lot of
Aoi's
Skywrath this
hero.
game.
Skywrath.
You want to have spell damage against Cold Embrace. I mean, technically it's a good counter towards Cold Embrace because he's not moving, but he takes spell damage. So Mystic Flare would be devastating towards that target.
I mean, does that validate enough? Those in the past couple of days, you guys have been saying not really convinced about Skywrath Mage at this tournament.
I think it's usually because of other variables that Skywrath hasn't won as much. In theory, it should work really well though. I mean, maybe against like Null Field plus Cold Embrace, it might be difficult to burst through that.
Okay.
But generally, it's like Skywrath Mage's ult doesn't really scale, right? Whereas Cold Embrace, the more HP you get, the more HP you heal from Cold Embrace. So as the game goes later and later, it actually almost doesn't outdo the damage, especially when you have a hero like Anti-Mage. which is
Yeah.
probably why they made it out too. It's good versus.
Now, do you think CTY is going to be playing the Leshrac, or are they going to give Young the Leshrac and pick up a Bloodseeker?
I think
So
if you want
CTY.
to play aggressively against the Storm, you want Leshrac to lane against Storm, so you open up a lot of possibilities that your support can just roam him and get a kill on a Storm, since Leshrac would more or less always keep the Storm at half HP from the harass.
From lightning, yeah.
So it would actually make it easier for your supports to find a window of opportunity to come in and just get a kill.
I'm surprised Bloodseeker is making it through this far.
Yeah, we see the Darkseer Wyvern combo. I mean, I don't feel like Evil Genius is really that vulnerable to it, though. It's generally when they have... Winter's Curse is pretty large range, but the radius is actually pretty tiny. I guess maybe with Vacuum, but they have pretty mobile heroes. Like, Skywrath generally sits very far back. Stormspear can zip all the way back to your own line of supports. Gyrocopter with Flak and Tusk, you know, he can stay back or snowball if he feels like he's in danger. So I like the combo a lot, but versus this lineup, it may be hard to pull off.
Do you like Omni Knight with Storm this game for PPD? Against
I think it's pretty good. I don't like it versus Rubik, though. I think it's a problem. Like, if
it's-
you ever held
It's
Leshrac,
pretty good versus like Winter's Curse. You have the Guardian Angel,
it is.
and the repel will be definitely helpful against Leshrac and the supports as well. The Rubik, the Darkseer.
Yeah, as long as he can get the Rubik out of the way, I think it's actually
Yeah,
a
but
very
it's
good pick.
risky against Rubik though. You might. I mean, you're going to give away something big. Like all the 3 spells are very very useful for Rubik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, earlier today, Cloud9 decided not to ban out anybody. Was thinking maybe he decided that too, but let it go very late, and it's Bristleback.
Bristle has come up in discussion and, of course, in game a couple times, but nowhere near.
I mean, Omni Gyro is also just really scary. You don't need to repel the storm, although it makes his life so much easier. He can just almost instantly kill one of the supports or blow multiple cooldowns. I do like that option over the other defensive options. Tree is like so-so
There's
versus...
Darkseer and Edict, so
Yeah. Arctic Burn even, and it doesn't seem as strong. And also, like, I don't think the root is that great here. What other ones are there?
I don't think you can you consider
there's still a Abaddon.
Lion. I'm not sure how defensive. Like he's maybe not as defensive, but he has good disables at least. And they're kind of lacking on that department again. Who knows? They don't have a lot of time left, so.
Yeah, I mean, they already used a lot of their reserve time earlier.
Well, Nyx Assassin.
And Nyx Assassin.
Is that the first time he's picked to this tournament? Because I can't remember writing his name
say
down.
yes.
And I'm writing all the names down. So I
'Cause
think so, yeah.
almost every time we bring up Nyx Assassin, we're like, well, we're surprised we haven't seen it yet.
It's
So-
a very good answer to Leshrac. And again, the one that's been most explored is Anti-Mage, but Nyx Assassin I think is very, very good. He's also very good versus Darkseer. Like, you can almost get a guaranteed Carapace against Ion Shell, and Darkseer has very, very high intel. Also, just a ton of magic damage to burst in. Overall, he just causes like a lot of chaos in the fight. There's like so much stuff flying around. There's like a storm sphere zipping around. There's call down. There's like snowballs and ice shards. It's very hard to position yourself to not get hit by all those spells on top of a Earth Spike.
Yeah, they have a lot of pick-off potential between the Nyx, the Storm, and the Tusk as well. So a lot of ganking opportunities would arise for all those heroes. So eHome has Darkseer plus the Wyvern combination, so they might want to gear towards more team fight to avoid getting picked off by those heroes.
Yeah, they have great synergy with Skyrath now. I was like a little worried. It's like, okay, Storm
Ember could
Spirit
fit.
is...
Oh,
Okay, that's
Another
that's
first.
big team fight. That is big team fight.
Luna also
Yeah.
not picked before.